While the world is celebrating the end of 2020, jihadis are celebrating an attack on a Hindu temple in Pakistan. The Guardian reports, a violent religious mob has set fire to a Hindu temple in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region and attempted to tear it to the ground. Crowds of thousands, reportedly led by Islamic clerics, descended on the Hindu temple in the village of Teri in Karak district on Wednesday and began to rip bricks from the walls and set it on fire. No one was inside the temple at the time. Footage from the scene shows the crowd chanting slogans and cheers greeting the destruction. I wonder what slogans they were shouting. The shrine, which was first erected in 1919 before partition divided India and Pakistan, had recently undergone refurbishment after an order from the Supreme Court in 2015. This was the second time it had been demolished following an incident in 1997 when it had been destroyed by a group of Muslim fanatics. Notice this part about recent renovations. Anyone who's familiar with the Pact of Umar will understand why Muslim leaders would use renovations as a means of inciting a mob. As the early Muslim community conquered Arabia and then expanded east and west, most groups were given two options: convert or die. Christians and Jews were given a third option. They could become dhimmis, second-class citizens who acknowledged their inferiority by paying tribute money to Muslims. Eventually, dhimmis would have to sign an agreement listing the various things they would do and not do in order to continue acknowledging their inferior status. The Muslim leader would demand that these well-known conditions be met by the Christians, these conditions that ensured their continued humiliation, degradation, and disgrace. Let's read part of the contract. This is from the Pact of Umar. The Christians were required to declare, "When you, Muslims, came to us, we requested safety for ourselves, children, property, and followers of our religion," i.e., once they were conquered, they requested dhimmi status, in which case they would not be executed or forced to convert to Islam. "We made a condition on ourselves that we will neither erect in our areas a monastery, church, or a sanctuary for a monk, nor restore any place of worship that needs restoration, nor use any of them for the purpose of enmity against Muslims." Did you catch that? No new construction of Christian buildings and no restorations. Now, what would happen if Christians violated this contract by building a church or even by repairing a church that was falling apart? It's in the contract. These are the conditions that we set against ourselves and followers of our religion in return for safety and protection. If we break any of these promises that we set for your benefit against ourselves, then our dhimma, promise of protection, is broken, and you are allowed to do with us what you are allowed of people of defiance and rebellion. Apparently, Muslim leaders in Pakistan think of Hindus as dhimmis, even though Hindus wouldn't have been granted dhimmi status by Muhammad and his companions. So, when Muslim leaders hear that Hindus are repairing a building, they view this as Hindus attempting to rise up from their second-class status. Hence, the leaders form a mob to put the Hindus back in their place and remind them of their inferior status. They treat the Hindus as people of defiance and rebellion. Once again, the attacks we see around us, the attacks that we're told have absolutely nothing to do with Islam, can be traced directly back to Islam's most trusted sources. Is 2021 going to be the year the world finally stops protecting this ideology from criticism? Is 2021 going to be the year when politicians and journalists and educators at least stop lying about what it teaches?
उनका ये वो बाथरूम है जो तोड़ फोड़ कर दिए, ये मेन डोर निकाल दिया, ये पुलिस का कमरा है। और अल्लाह आपका भला करे, ये आपका ये मंदिर का हिस्सा, ये कब्र मुबारक है, बुरी तरह तोड़ दिया गया।